Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. Very quick reminder to everyone. We're going to continue the training where we stopped off just before we did the 2 weeks free. So we're going to pick up from there and we're going to go this week. I think this week might be a little quiet, so it'd be good for us. It's coming on to the year end and we'll try to complete that before the year end. And don't worry if you're going to miss any of the group classes or the practice or so. We will continue until everybody is completed, right? So we're going to continue next year if we have to. The point is the training is not limited to a time period. It's limited to your ability to be successful. So if you're still struggling, come back, let's do it. Even the traders who finished the course a year or two ago, if you find that you're hitting that wall where you're struggling, please come back, let's do it. But I also would like to tell you that I'm really, really happy that some of the traders who were really struggling, even in getting the concept, to finally come around to say, hey, I think I've got this now. Literally, after this course we've done, I've got a one-on-one with some of them, and I can see the difference in how they actually analyze the chart and how they're taking trades, how they're managing it. And I think most importantly, they themselves have seen that difference, which is the most important thing, right? Is that you see and feel the difference in your trading and your understanding of the chart and everything, because that is what actually will put you in that stage. So I think what we're going to do this time when we start a practice session, we're going to open to everybody. If you find a difficult chart or a difficult thing that you need to bring in, because you will meet that stage again of difficulty in your future. There will be when you're trading it. Whatever you can't figure out now, you will reach it, you will see that same pattern in the future, which means if we all come together and figure it out now, it's going to be the same for everybody. They will look at it and say, okay, we figured that out the last time, we understand how we should do that. So now we will do this with it, right? So with that, let's go, let's start. The week is amazing, and I would say there's a lot of new installment traders as well with us. So London session, hope to see all of you. Should be amazing. Let's go. The week this is coming to the end of the year, so don't pressure yourself too much. Don't force trades if you don't have any. Next year will be a bigger plan and we'll go. So next year, we're going to restructure the group a little. I told you about it. We're going to plan and we're going to make sure we don't leave anyone behind. That's going to be the plan. That we take everybody with us into that successful moment. Anyone that starts struggling from the start of the month, we're going to start of the year, the first month, we're going to make sure we get you up to date. Right? Because if there are people making money, it means you can make money. Right? Even if one person in the group make money, all are supposed to make because we're exposed to the same information. When we see 50% making, it means we can bring the other 50% with us. Right? That's the whole goal. And let's see if we can make that happen. Okay, let's start. So dollar index, nothing new happened here. Although you might be watching like all over the charts or all over the place, nothing new happened. It's exactly what we wanted it to do. It's going down, and I believe this would be a running flat. Eventually, this is all going to be a running flat for more downside. I don't think it's going to be a channel for upside. What we're getting here now is we were expecting this sharp one to make these flats, make these flat, come back to about the low or just below, and then go back up there, make a flat here, drop, go back up, drop, go back up, and then go for the bigger drop. Right? That was the plan until it did exactly that. I mean, to us, if it breaks this low or don't break the low, it doesn't change the pattern, right? It broke the low, make another flat, break that low, and then come back up. Well, great. We're looking for this one. And what we feel is that this, at some point, has to come back here. Can it go a little higher like this and still be the expanding flat there for downside? Possible. Right? That's the thing of understanding and knowing what to do. So we might or might not get a move up to back to the top, or we are already turning to come to the low. But that when it breaks this low again, the same thing will happen. It's going to go back up. Probably going to drop again and go back up. So we will eventually get this flat before we drop. Let's see how we go into that. So let's come to the 1 hour. And which direction most likely? I think most likely it looks like we are going to make one more up. We do have this sharp one that came down but didn't break the low. We have 1, 2, there's a possibility this is going to come a little more here, complete this flat here for a 3. I don't see any other way but completing that one, maybe going back up, pulling back sharp, going back up. We might even end up with this being more corrective than the impulse. And if that is the case, then we're stuck here with a lot of more sharp impulses to come in the future, right? So if this is to repeat itself in this one, that would become more of a flat pattern rather than a corrective structure. We will drop again, But now we'll still be in this bigger corrective piece, right? Because I don't see this piece here actually, I don't see it doing anything with that. We could have probably, I don't think we can put these two together and then assume that. No, I don't think so. We can't assume that this part is part of it and we're doing that. So we'll have to skip. Sometimes you get this sharp one, but in this case, we put it with this one as an expanding flat. So that kind of completed for this downside and then that up move. So I'm not sure, we don't have anything to put this with in here. So we're not going to have an expanding flat in there, which means we could either get it when this is finished and they go back up. We could get it here, go back up there. Well, we might decide that that is more of a flat than a net. So we'll have to come back here, go back up there, finish this one. And if we're going to come down, we might end up coming down back like this. So we could be in a slow market there for the entire year. By the end of the year, before we actually start getting that big drop. So think of this consolidation as this period from December all the way maybe into January. And by the end of January, you actually start getting that drop that is going to come really big. Now, can they finish the entire move to the bottom and come back up? I don't know. We'll see. So on that one, we're looking for a buy setup today. Short term, buy setup, and we'll see what it. So what we have here in silver is that we think this pattern might be completed. Remember, the dollar index is, there's a little piece more down. That means silver could finish this and start going down too, right? Because we know that silver does have a lot of divergence as well. Same here. Put it like this. You can see the divergence all the way here. So at some point, this bigger one will happen. Now, it's not this one. I don't think it's this one anymore because we kind of stop, we turn, and that means we'll be putting these two, the smaller one. As of now, we're going with the smaller version. That is this one here, right? The smaller one, which means I would put this as coming from the top later on. At some point, we'll get to that up and come back. Now, all we need here is a flag, and it seems like we're getting a flag. The mere fact that it goes above, we're thinking running flat. So come back to this level, make a running flat, and then go. And then trade above it will be the buy. That'll be simple, right? So if this pulls back a little and we want it to pull back like this, so you want it to pull back a little here, and then you put an entry order above the top. We're going for that buy. Let's go with the possibility that it's not going to go back up, but it's going to continue to go down. Then what pattern would we probably look for? I think we could make an argument of whether we would look at this as an expanding flat like we have at the top row. So if we're wrong about the short one and we're actually going down for the long one, and the long one did have a lot of correction inside of it, I think we all agree. A deep pullback, correction. There's a lot of correction in that downward. So what if this is making a bigger expanding flat to the downside? These are the only two possibilities we have. It wouldn't matter if it's making a downside and you have an entry here. It wouldn't tag you. So we will put that entry order. And if instead of going back up to tag us, it keeps going down, we can't sell it until we get a flag. So as soon as we see a flag happening here, we'll take this off or we'll put an entry order here and we're going for the drop. Now, because if this is going to continue to go, the move is a bigger one to the downside. You don't have to be in a rush to get it. You will eventually get it. And you'll definitely wait for the confirmation. So I'm going to take this off and we're going to go with the contracting flat here for now. Or running flat, sorry. We're going to with that running flat for now. And we just want this to come down a little more and then put an entry order above it. Right? The probability of this trade to the upside is much higher at this moment. If it is to make a flag when it goes down a little more, then that changes the probability. Structurally, you see a difference and that changes. On the 15, I think you can all agree. You can make this a correction. Pretty sharp correction. Well, it's having a 1, 2, 3, but let it come a little more here and then see if this is going to turn to the upside. If it drops to this level and it starts to consolidate more, well, we'll be selling. We'll take off the buy and we'll sell. So right now, it's still a buy setup. And the entry is to the top here. You can use a stop under the low. It's not a big trade, but it might be worth taking. If you have to double your risk and do it, you can go ahead with it. So we'll put this as a buy setup now. And we'll see how we change that. Gold, on the other hand, really doesn't look like a buy setup. And the problem with that is we just spoke about this before we started the recording, was this big flat at the bottom here. That's really a big flat. Kind of make a 1, 2, 3. And this one also was a 1, 2, 3. So what we were thinking on Friday is that it might come to this stop here and then it's going to go. So you put an entry here. Nothing's wrong with that entry. because it's going up, it's not going to tag you anymore. So if the big flat is actually for upside, you can take this out now. If this is making a bigger flat for upside, then this running flat would be the buy setup. We would take this as a running flat. I will put an entry order here for the next up move. Although we have this big flat, this is the low. So can they go back up? I think we also have a pattern whereby we think that could be enough. You can make an argument for this being enough of a running flat, and we go up one more. Right? You can make an argument for this. That's your running flat. And we go up one more. So if we ignore the fact that this is a big flat at the bottom, this flag actually looks good for upside. So we will put a buy entry here at the top here. And again, come back to the same principle. What if we're wrong and this is actually just a bigger correction? What if that's, this one went to this impulse just gone a little deeper? Then we probably wouldn't go up. We just continue to drop. We'll get a flag somewhere here, and then we'll be setting that flag first to this level, and then with the intention it's going to go lower. And if that goes lower, then we relook at these patterns. We spoke about that already last week, right? If that goes lower, then we probably could be coming back as pretty much as this, as low as that. Or we could make an argument afterwards whether we look at this as a running flat for upside, or we might even go as low as testing the low. Because if this starts going down, we will negate this running flat. And that means we'll be using, for this one, we'll be using either this bigger structure, come back to this one, using that, and this would just be a 1, 2, 3 move that end the structure. So there are options of how you can look at this, how we can look at that. I don't think that this necessarily, is the only one. But let's leave it open. We're gonna put this here, and we'll leave it open for now to see which one actually is the correction. So I'll leave the contracting flat here for now, and we'll ignore this one. This could be a standalone correction too, or it could be 2 contracting flats as we looked at it last week. So first, we look for the buy. Now, if you ask me, I'm more inclined to believe that the gold will drop. And that is because of, we've seen when they make these big flats here, 90% of the time, it's more downside than upside. But as of now, we have to go with what we have in the chart. And what we have is this possibility for this flat. See, so this is going to come a little more here, go back. So unless this starts to make a flag, we don't have a trade for a sell. That's simple. If you follow that rule, you will either not be in a trade or you will get the right trade. Now, can we get it from a lower place to the upside? We'll figure that out when we come to it. So this would be a buy too. Euro USD. I think this has one more down. So this actually went up pretty sharp. You got a little pullback here, but then it went up. It dropped and made a flat. It dropped, it's kind of coming here. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes back up there, make a running flat here, and then get the final drop before they go. We're thinking that this is going to make a running flat here, then go back up. Again, we're open to the same thing that we could be, we could be looking at this pattern differently. Either this might not be that running flat, and this one could be some kind of a contracting flat here. And this is actually going down deeper. We do have a lot of divergence on the time frame. See that? A lot of divergence. So we have a sell setup. And if we're wrong about it, then we don't have to worry about it. If we're wrong, we're gonna just go back up and we wouldn't be in the trade. But if you're right, this sell would be a good one. As of now, we want this to happen. So there might be a short buy setup to this level that will drop. Let's see if we have a trade that we can take with that. Then we can go with a trade, put it on the 15, assume this is the flag, put an entry above the top. Right? And if that goes, we're going to look for a move that is like this. You can take this out. You can put it like that, so it's pretty useless. All the consolidation is in here. So you look for a move like this. I think one of those are the top, it doesn't matter, something like that. So the trade is a good one. Entry here, stop here, go for that though. If we get that, we look at that as a big flat. Pretty big flat here. Go there, come back, break the low, we'll sell. And then either upside or continue to the downside, depending on how we would look at that pattern after this happened. Right now, we're looking at it like this, and this flat in the middle here is pretty normal. It's almost an equivalent to this flat, right? So you get one, you get a flat there, you get a drop, and then you go back. So we're going to assume that we're going to repeat the same thing. So we'll go with a buy here, and this will be an aggressive buy. Pound. Same pattern, same thing. If this is making a running flat as we think it is, it should go up from here. We're not actually going up, right? We're more of making a consolidation at the bottom. You see they came back pretty low. And even if this goes up there, there's a good chance you might come here. You could even probably go back up, but then this whole thing would be a flat pattern. So can we assume that we're making this pattern, or is there any other options in this? Well, the only other option is this is a correction of its own, and that is possible. So we'll wait and see. Do we have any buy setups here? Not the best one. You might get a buy setup here, but it's not exactly triggering a big move. They just need to come and break that up. Right, and then downside if possible. If it's going to continue to go. So I think we can take the trade, and by the time we break that up, get it to break even. It's a very aggressive trade. We'll probably take it more aggressive than we normally would, and we'll probably put an entry here. That is tracking the 15-minute zone, but for now, keep it here. For now, you want to keep it above that correction to make sure that that is the correction you're looking at. Right, so for now, we keep it there. Stops here. Target the break of this stop, this one. So it's not really a big trade, but once it gets there, you can put it to break even. Aussie definitely a sell. Even if this goes up some more, I think we're only going for a sell. This could be a running flat here already. We broke the low here. And then, it could get more complex than that because this one is really corrective. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually come down here and then go back up. Right, this would be more like a 1, 2, 3. Go back up there, complete this one, and then drop. So if you're taking the trade, we have to wait for a setup that we can sell or something that we can buy inside of it. If I thought this one here would drop, if I thought this here would drop, we'd be selling, but I don't think so. I think this, you see this has a flat in the middle there. I think this is a 1, 2, 3. It's going to come here and go back up. So we don't have a good entry for this trade to the downside to sell it and then go back up. Let's wait. If it starts to give a flag, we'll take the flag. I mean, if it starts making a flag here, we'll go with it because then we'd assume that by the time we break this low, we can get the break even. New Zealand should go up. We were thinking that this is the running flat. That was almost a perfect one. A running flat because we don't have anything for this. So that would make the perfect running flat. See? But it's actually going up, but not the way we would like it though. This is impossible to trade. The upside is almost impossible to get, but we can get the downside. If it's going to drop one more. Can it drop one more? Well, if it dropped one more, we probably wouldn't put it to this. We'd have to relook at it. For now, it's with that. And where would the sell be? Well, I wouldn't put it here. The sell, the closest you can put the sell would be here. Yep, something like that. If this stays as a flag, we could continue to buy. So this is one is sharp. So if they come here and they go back up sharp and they come back here, we're looking for a buy setup. But let it make that flat at the top there, then we look for the buy setup. So we wait, right? Aussie CAD. We're pretty much at the top. We actually broke that top. So if they want to reverse, this is the reversal point. So this one actually went and broke out of the top. We can look at this two ways. It's an expanding flat, which means this here just made an expanding flat. We come back to the bottom here and then we go. That's one option. The second option, well, it's not making an expanding flat. This correction is finished. This was all the correction. And we're literally taking off. Right? This was all the correction here. And this is literally taking off. In that case, well, we've got ourselves a running flat here already. So if this is going to take off, an entry above the top will work. 1 second, guys. As usual, I have a cold. I don't know where the hell these can come from. So if this is going to continue to go up after this flat, that means we're going to take this as a running flat. So an entry order above there, prove a running flat. What if they just tag us and start to pull? Well, we'll get the hell out of the trade. But I like the upside too, which means you're just continuing to go up rather than the down move that we thought is going to happen. Can we continue to go up from here and this would be a running flat? No, we'll probably still be in that whole structure. Let's put an entry above the top and go with the trade. I'll take this up because we broke that up already. So the entry order goes above the top. Prove it's a running flat. If this starts to drop, we'll go with the sell somewhere else, not this one. Because as long as you're in that correction, it's possible upside. So this would be a buy setup also. Yen, we're in a big structure. I don't think this would be the total low, simply because we've got some sharp waves here and sharp wave there. And this definitely doesn't look like anything but a 1, 2, 3 here. So we'll have to wait for this to come down. Probably wait for this to go back up, come back down, go back up, and then ready to go. But we can take the sell. I think the sell is a possible one. Very short trade. If we're wrong, they drop to the bottom, you're good for you. So where would the trade be? Under the low. So that was a sell, by the way. Now we can put under the low and leave it. So we'll go with an aggressive sell. Dollar Swiss. Same thing like the dollar index. We're in that structure where they're going up and down. So I'll take this as some kind of a correction here. This move, I don't think we've got this move up as yet. So I think we're literally doing 1, 2, 3. And this could be this up move here. Now the moves are getting bigger. So if this gets anything bigger, we'll change it when we look at the structure. But for now, that is it, which means we expect this to come back down, go back up, come back down, go back up, and then drop. So come here, what trades do we have? Nothing much. There is a sell setup here, but it's pretty small. I do have to put this here, and I'm in a 1 hour, but it's 4 hours sideways, so they can drop and they can come down here. Let's see if we can put that trade on. Let me go back to the 15. I want to see what this looks like. Yeah, why not? If it's gonna drop, we'll take the trade. Put the entry under here. And put this here. But you have to get out of this trade really quick if it's not going. And if it doesn't go immediately, you have to get rid of it. So we want to see it drop and go immediately, not drop and stop and go sideways. So we're going to put an aggressive sell. Swiss yen. I think we might be able to look at it this way. Could that be all? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And this drops. I think that looks good, right? Makes sense. So if we get a flag here, we sell. It's not a flag, is it? But if you get a flag, you're going for a sell. We want a lot more consolidation because this looks like a reversal flat. Sorry, reversal pattern. Release some impulse, wait for a consolidation sell. We just need more consolidation, and then that would confirm the downside in this. Can it go back up more? Yeah, but that would be within the structure. So the buy might not really be there, and it wouldn't give us a good trade. So we look for a sell setup here. We're looking for a sell setup. Let's see. CAD yen. This was a sell here last week, and I think we might get another sell here. Take this off. We can put another entry for a sell here. What you'll watch is we had this as the thing, but what if we're actually doing this? Take this off. What if we're actually doing this? Then where would we put this? Would have to be the move down. So could we have probably looked at this as a expanding flat there too? Like 1, 2, 3. See that 1, 2, 3? You have a 1, 2, 3 there, right? This is more of a deep pullback. You might get a deep pullback in this one here. So I think it's worked. This is a good sell. In any case, that is flat. So we look for sell setups. We just have to change the pattern. It's still a sell. So this sell is a good one. We just put it as a sell because we have a good flat actually. And I think you can put that sell now immediately. New Zealand yen. I got to sell in before. Sorry, take this out. We don't have a sell setup, but it's coming down. It's coming down really slow. And I don't like the way this is coming down. It's coming down like really, really, really slow. So you get this, you get that, and you're getting this. That looks upside. On the big picture, that definitely looks upside. One more. So I'll be cautious on any sell, and let's wait to see if we actually get a buy in here. Let it turn. We don't have a buy right now. Aussie yen. One more down. We need to break this low. We did that from here, and we're getting another sell, right? So this shows how you can keep trades for a longer period of time, but you just have to have a lot of patience with it if you want to do it, right? So one more sell, break the low, and then upside. That's pretty easy. Pound yen. Pound yen might be changing direction. So that sell there that we took for a deeper correction is actually good. We might be changing direction. See, you're making an attempt to break out, so put it to the 4 hour. It's already making sense on this piece coming down, right? Seems like they just broke out and they come right back down, but we'll go with the sell. We'll look at the structure, we'll figure out each piece, and then we'll go. So this would be a sell setup. This has to go back a lot, make a flag, and then decide we're going up. So most likely it's a sell setup. We're getting consolidations here. Euro New Zealand. This one is kind of going back. There's a sharp pullback here. A lot of them we have this. We have this sharp pullback. But this move up is not small too. So if this goes up as a consolidation here, and it comes back anywhere here, definitely selling. But buying this move that is going up now is not a good idea. See, that's going up like a big wave. Can we say that we're making a bigger correction? Can this thing come back much deeper at any point? Well, it all depends on whether this becomes a flag. Right now it's going up. So if we decided we're going to go deeper down, you can put a sell entry here. Right? If it's going to break through that and go, then we will go with the sell. But if this goes back up to the top, which I think it's doing, then we wouldn't get a sell. So let's put it for a sell for now. But I'm more inclined to believe that we will climb back to this top here, maybe slow. Maybe much slowly. Come back here and then go. Yeah, that should be a good one. So let's see. Keep the sell open. Euro CAD. Euro CAD kind of come down, but the same thing. We had the channel a number of times. Look like we broke out, and this might go one more up. This here at this point could go one more up, break the top. That would be this. And then come down. So you might get a buy setup. We don't have any sell setup. If this is going to start to drop, like all the CAD pairs, we have a lot of divergence. We on all time frame, and it should start to drop. But we don't have a sell setup on it that is showing you that it's going to drop. Let's wait. Let's see what this piece does, and then we'll decide maybe later on we have something. I know it's just going sideways there. Yeah. Good sell. If we took the sell, that's okay. Put a sell entry here. We don't have a buy. I think that flat could work. So the sell makes a good idea. Let's go with the sell. If it goes high, we don't have a trade. Because you wouldn't have an entry to buy it. Yours. Get an entry to buy this if we go. So let's see. Put it like this. The only buy you can do in this is actually putting the entry above the top. It's coming up really slow, but that's the only one you can do, because if this starts to consolidate, we might get a short-term downside. So we put a buy, aggressive buy. Euro Swiss. Nothing is yet. Pound CAD. I think Pound CAD is just making a bigger flat here, right? So this one we sold, we closed the trade. If you didn't close it there, you close it there. You're getting a flat here now, and this means it's going to come back there. Go back up, make a big flat, and then drop. So we need a big flat here. You've got one sell to the downside, and you probably get a buy setup, and that would be the trade. Let's go. Pound Swiss. So this would be a short-term sell. You can actually sell this. Pound Swiss looks upside. We broke the low. Take that off. Pull back. This big picture looks up, but we're not ready for the upside. So which means we're going to get something like this. You're going to probably consolidate here and drop here and then go back up. So wait for the consolidation. Let's see what it looks like in a 1 hour. Still consolidating. So although this looks like it's reversing, I don't think they will reverse, right? We'll have to see how deep this comes, how it comes, and how it comes, because you can get this more of a flat than then drop. So bigger picture is downside before they go back up. So I don't think we should buy this as we'll wait. Pound yen. There might be more moves to the downside. Let's see. Yeah, you might even break out of this. Do we have a flag? Not the best one, but we can put an entry under here. Because the bigger picture is downside of the breakouts. Pound New Zealand, we just looked at this. So let's see if we get a turning point or if we get a sell setup. We don't know what it is yet. It's starting to look like this could actually make a turning point. All right, this should go there. Let's see. So let's wait. We really don't have a setup as yet. There's nothing on the 15. We want that sharp move up, but we don't have anything in it. Let me see 15 it's again. We kind of got this, but this up move could finish that. So if it makes a flag here, we can buy, but if it's going to drop, it's a sell setup here. We'll go an aggressive sell. Pounds, let's see. Big picture or upside. At least break that up. Did we break it already? It should start a downside, but I'm not sure we're ready for it. Nope, we don't have any sell setup. Take that there. That looks upside. We also don't have a buy setup. I've not put an entry in here yet because the distance is not very far. Aussie CAD might be starting that downside. See, it's a pretty sharp move. We're consolidating. That entry is a good one. Big picture. We could come back all the way to the bottom here. If we go with this as a running flat, we'll come back to retest the low. So that trade right now looks very, very good. We don't know that that will eventually be a flat, but if it is, then this trade just became amazing. Tried really good sell. Can even put it a little higher, but let's wait to see what this does first. We're going for a sell here. Sorry. Come on. Red. Let's go. Aussie Swiss. We dropped. Let's see where we're going. Well, it has to go back at some point, right? Because we have this flat. We have this. We have a flat somewhere in here. And this is just kind of doing that. So with all of that in there, you wait for a flag here and you're trying to go back to the top. Now remember how this went? Really, really, really messy. We're going to take buys, but if they start to get really messy, we'll just get out of them. Wait for this to go sideways. And then that one up. So look for buy setup. CAD Swiss. So the question is whether this is over. I don't think it is. If it is over, what we want it to do is we want this to continue to go and make a flag like this before it goes. If it's going to drop one more drop, you have to be very, very cautious because every drop could be the last one. So I would warn against selling it, but we don't have a buy setup. New Zealand CAD, I think we can put an entry order here now. There's possibility for that sharp move. So this is the top we're consolidating at this range. We can actually go with this sell. We'll go with that sell and see how that goes. Because I don't think we're taking off to the upside as yet. Right? And we know New Zealand CAD could also go down. It doesn't really have to get to that top. If we're making this one, it can go down from there. Right, that's the point from where we can go down. So let's go back to the 1 hour. If we get sell set up, we'll take it. Which means we'll take this and we'll manage it very, very carefully. You can use a stop above here. Once it tag, you will try to get it to break even. Aussie New Zealand, sorry. Downside, wait for downside. New Zealand Swiss. Well, this is gonna go one more up. I think this is a really good one. And it's doing exactly what we wanted to do. This would have been a buy, you get another buy here. I want the entry order. Put an entry order there. Go for the trade. Goes up one more, then we're gonna see what happens there. Natural gas, I think eventually you go up. Even if this is coming down, you don't have a buy. So eventually you look for an entry order here, and then we see how this behaves here. But I don't think it's downside. Look at that flat. It doesn't make sense for the downside. So we're gonna go with a buy here. Oil. Okay, if you took the sell, I think you managed to close that already. It's not going anywhere. That's in the 4 hour what it looks like. Just one sharp move. And still looks downside. Right, this still looks downside. Except that this is making a flat now. So if you put this here and it tags you again, you have to get out. Now it's making a flat in here. Let's see if we get this and we get that. If we get that flat, put the entry here, let it come to this level. It could go back up and then drop. It could also be a running flat. So this sell makes sense, which is I put it here for now, but we're waiting for completion of the pattern. Sorry, sell setup. I think this would be the same. Oh, this is coming down really fast. We have this. Leave it under here, let's see. That goes back one more, we'll just wait until it finishes and then downside. Wait for the sell setup. S&P 500. It dropped, but not that much. And we're kind of going sideways. We're literally doing sideways here. Remember the last time we see them do this and we thought they'll break the top and then come, that didn't happen. We go with this one. Well, we're seeing this also. But they're doing that and then they could possibly go, but I don't think so. So I think we wait some more, let this finish what it's doing in there. But just in case, put a seller. Those just in case sell are working good. Worst case is they're giving you break even, right? But they keep going lower and lower. Put it there and then we'll figure out the whole structure. I think this would have to make a bigger correction. I see it literally doing this, going back up, giving us this flat. 1, 1, 2, 3, that one there. Maybe even a little higher, give it this flat, and then come down. So I don't think it's coming down or going up, but yet we wait. Let's go. NASDAQ, same thing, put the entry under the low. I think it's incomplete. Put the entry under low. I think it's incomplete. This might be a buy setup afterwards. Next, great. You should close this trade. Right, you should close that trade. It's too long. Put your entry here. Same thing, incomplete. So we're going with wait for flags. Wait for flags. What do we get? No, we were gonna put sell setup on all of them. So we may just put aggressive sell. Because we have the entry orders on, right? Not this, I'm sorry. We have here. Let's put just aggressive sell on them. Put aggressive sell because we have the entry orders on. Put aggressive sell. So Nifty. Nifty is done. This one is pretty sharp. So I think we either get a consolidation here, then drop, go back, then drop, making that flat. Or this kind of work its way back to the top and make a flatter one. But most likely it's downside, wait for this to consolidate, sell. Bitcoin. Well, we're literally gonna go down now. Within the 1 hour. This is a good sell. Break the low, go back up. Can it not break the low and go back up? Possible, but then you will get out of the trade. But most likely it's breaking the low, get back up. So if you're trading this, everything would be downside. Ethereum would be downside. Actually, you have a flag here already forming. OMG will be downside. It's already gone. It broke the low, by the way. It might give you one more drop and then start looking for reversals. Let's go to the daily. Yep. Now they might break this low, but I will take a while. I don't think this one will go and break the low, but let's see if that happens. That would be good. It could give you a spike first before that happens. Same here. On the 1 hour. Just downside. I think this one is also downside. Yeah, pretty much so. We can just run through all of them downside. 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 We had a really good by the way, this one is already at the bottom. This one is at the very bottom. See? At the very bottom, we don't necessarily have to break that low. Right? There's no need to break that low. They can turn at any point and go up, and you're starting to see that divergence here. So it's at the bottom of this channel, and that means you a little more down, and then you wait for the upside. So this one you have to be careful with. Not a lot more down. One more drop, and then we start looking for buy setups. I'll watch for buy setups. This one. 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, sorry about that test. Link. Looks like we're gonna get back to the bottom before we go there, but selling here is not an option. Buying here might not be an option too. Wait for it to go back up and then we see if we get it. This is pretty deep. I thought it would be more like this. Right? If this comes break the low, we'll relook at the structure, but for now we stay with this structure. AMPUSD. We made a new low. Let's see in the daily. Yeah, that is actually a new low. That is about the low you get because I don't think we have anything lower. I mean, except for where it was somewhere here in the future. We'll have to look at that in a really big picture. I think this should have been lower, but right now this is the low. And this is really, really low. Now you got to be careful if you're trying to buy this because it just keeps dropping. See? So this looks like we've got a flat here. And this is about to break the low. So wait for the reversal, wait for the flag, and we start buying. This should be the same. Yeah, this just broke the low. Wait for the reversal, wait for the flag, buy. All right, we wanted it to come and break this low so that we can look for this move up. That move there, that sharp move. So we do have a lot of them. We just have to wait for them to turn. That means keep an eye on it, guys. It will turn. It has to make a flag. That's a couple hours. This one is about to break the low. You should get a move like that. It's going to break the low. This one is about to break the low. And this one, let's see. Do we have to break the low? Could it be that they're already making this as a flat for upside? Like from here, go up. This just go up from here. That's possible. And BNB. Dash is going to break the low. It's coming down already. They'll probably break that low. And BNB is going to break the low. This one needs to break the low before we go back up. So this would have to come here, break this low, and then head back for the top there. So there's a lot of possibility coming up on cryptos. We can keep our eyes on them, especially if you're a crypto trader. Even if you haven't traded crypto, you may want to keep your eye on them because we do have some good setups. We wanted them to get to the low, and they're all at the low now. So that is the point where we start doing something. Anyway, guys, thank you. It's long, and we have some setups. I'll close this room. Let me see what time it is now. It's just about 6 a.m. So 6 to 7:45. It's an hour 45. If you guys go in the trading room and anything happen, I'll jump in. Send me a message. If not, I'll see you at 7:45 London time. Take care, trade with care, and let's go. See you guys in the London session. Take care. Bye.